I'll tell you what, most of the guys who were, well, the poster stigma for things like the use of cannabis, where maybe some of those people who, they go wake up in the morning, they never eat, they go drink ogogoro. Small time friend tell us, say, you go drink stout. Say, give me that because it's free. He drink on top. Then he can't go smoke Igbo. When they smoke the Igbo, go smoke one full big jumbo all by himself. Smoke and finish. Waka go. He never eat. What will happen to that person on the street?
He will misbehave.
Thank you. At the end of the day, they will say, but
that's the truth.
But the real picture is not that.
Yeah.
Because there are many other paradigms that he had crossed before getting to that last stage, which is the use of the weed. Tell you what, the Jamaicans have always called it the herb. Back at home, we always call it the herb.
Which home?
Every home.
We didn't call it herb, but we didn't call it Igbo.
Kinigbo. What is Igbo? Herb, the bush. Everything that is within, it is the strongest, most ethical plant. That's why they gave it the name of the bush as a whole. See, come on, is it not amazing that in America, the whole of America is legalized now?
No, not the whole.
No,
not the whole.
No. When you have 75%, when you have 75% of the country,
some parts.
When you have 75% of the country,
there is still no federal law legalizing it. So
I say when you have 75% of the states in America,
waste time. Let's not waste time.
No, the whole of Canada, uncle.
I don't know about Canada.
Ghana they're
in the process.
They have started exporting.
They're in the process. Even here, Governor Akeredolu said some time ago that But you see, that's the thing about
it's reset back to that same thing, my brother.
It's about the evolution of society. It's the truth.
We are too slow in this evolution. That's what I'm trying to make you realize.
But you can't rush it.
No, it has been with us since. We're not rushing it. We are saying that this is the time we need to key into what we need. This is where you will get the most natural from. It is curing the world now. They're confirming it, affirming it, attesting to it. So we need to now key in. All our natural medicines, our vegetables are now being packaged.
Oh, yes, that's
We are
true.
the ones that should be doing the packaging, is what I'm saying. Yeah. The Igbota and Soro that we're talking about, they are using it for many things all over the world now. We have the natural bed. Take seed from your mouth. Just remove a troyam. It will grow. So, in essence, it is time to paraphrase the policies and principles, because we need to start now building those paradigms that make us producers of the essence of life and living. It is through the things we have as natural God-given gifts, the herbs, the foods. Starts from there. The culture. It's embedded within. The tradition is built within. We culturalize how we build on our own heroes. Instead of flashing everywhere other people's heroes, we flash our heroes. We're sending the message in. Look, the first African ever to be represented in the height of theaterdom in the world is who? Fela Anikulapo Kuti. And we are not tapping into the resources the way we need to tap into it. The system is supposed to have critically focused on that and done a proper research on the Fela factor. Its essence, its values, its growth. They're tapping the money from abroad now like no man's business. You all saw how Fela Live on Broadway went.
Yes.
Money spinner. Yes. And they made a lot of money from all kinds of things, memorabilia from all kinds of things. That would have come home here. To the extent that, well, our people are also guilty, some of our people. They did not allow for our people to be embodied within that, to lead the trend of that. We would rather sell out than sell in. But we need to re-acculturalize our mindset from outward to inward.
But what if money comes from outward? You have to go there.
No, you can build the essence of letting the outward come with the money to collect the value from inward. That is all I'm trying to say.
Retain the essence.
Retain the essence, because the value is therein. You trained in it. You were mentored in it. You learned in it. You are now well versed in it. So you are the authority in it. So they would need to come here to get it, because the value therein lies within. So the returns will be commensurate with its value, because you will dictate that which is the value, not them to dictate to you. Because they just come here, lift off your raw materials, carry your cocoa, go, bring chocolate, come.
Yeah, but that's because you here, you have not taking the concrete steps towards making it happen.
It is
For
not
instance,
about you
no,
here.
wait now. Wait. For instance, you have a situation where, whilst we were growing up, the imported finished goods wasn't so much in our open markets. We had more industries working in this country then.
And the industries were from where?
Yeah.
Doing what thing?
We had industries.
No, give me the examples. I'll start coming in for you.
We had industries that were local, producing local products and selling within the Nigerian and West African markets.
Give me the products you're talking about. Let's go in.
I don't want to go into
You want to talk about
marketing.
USC products?
Yeah, well, USC too?
Don't you know what USC is?
No, that's historical.
Historical?
At the point they became indigenized.
They did not.
They did.
No, they looked
did.
like.
No, they did.
Bro, see, when you tell me that something is indigenized, it means it is in its embodiment, its principles, its policies, its dictum, it's local. But when you do not do that, and the last base is Western, then it's not indigenized.
No, it is.
No, MDs for too many years remained Oyibo to start with. Hold on.
Go
Brother,
ahead.
Cadbury Nigeria Limited.
This is how we always
Cadbury
did it.
Nigeria Limited
Yeah.
was not remitted. It wasn't a Nigerian fully owned company. Neither was Coca-Cola Nigeria Limited.
But then,
They all are offshoots of Cadbury International. What I'm trying to tell you is it is time for us to now realize that that era has gone. The era of us wanting to want that should die finally. We should start acculturalizing the present day generation with that empowerment process in the mindset.
that era would only die when we stop craving imported stuff.
Precisely what we're talking about.
Yes.
It's not imported stuff alone. You see, look, when we stop not training hours to value hours, it is our responsibility, like you said, and we must always keep doing this. We must teach them to understand the benefits, values accrued therein, and returns if need be. Because many of them, their mindset has been tuned. Look, in our time, you would take your time to go through a process. And through that process, you learn. From that process, you grow, right? Why do you think, for instance, the economic order in the world is understudying the Igbo mentorship system?
Yes.
In the business schools all abroad, they're studying it. Why? Because they've seen that it is a very, very strong model
It is.
that works.
It is. It
Now,
works.
good. That is our cultural way. We as a people, we need to start going back into understanding the rudiments of what our cultural trainings were meant to have given to us. True enough, we talk of interregnum of 40 years of whatever, where they forced by force that we turn our eyes away from that which is ours and focus directly on what we want to feed us with. That time is gone. The time is now where the world has been taken from where it was to where everybody is singularly reconnected.
Yeah.
Now, in those days, if our auntie open calabash with water inside, come clean, come say, hey, come talk to your brother for London. I say, come talk to your brother. Then you can't look inside the pot, you go say, now witchcraft. Yes?
Yeah.
But today you go hold your phone, press button. You talk to your brother for London, you go call on technology.
No.
No.
One is technology, the other is metaphysical.
No, brother,
It's
look.
true
No,
now.
see, come. We must start to understand that everything in this world is spirit-driven. It's spiritual. It's an essence. You call it metaphysical?
Yeah.
That's a spirit zone.
Yes.
That's a spiritual zone.
Yeah, but then-
everything in this world, we must empower ourselves with the essence of the African spiritualism
see,
and spirituality.
I don't have
to know
it.
the values therein.
Did it? I don't have anything against the metaphysical aspect of our lives as
It is about
Africans.
repackaging.
Hold on, no. But technology,
what to do?
we must admit that technology is technology.
Technology and witchcraft.
Well, you may choose to describe it.
How you want to describe and when person just press button, light come. According to fella, technology.
Yes.
You just dey here, you sit down, you dey look me for television. You just dey there. Before you go, you don't enter motor, you kick him, he move.
Okay.
You do. Oh, now winch.
No.
The man will make like
Okay,
don't go
so
school.
which kind of which you could describe this one as? We are recording a program that will become content for a television station.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So is that witchcraft? No.
Big time.
No.
Because you are using what we have. No, listen. We're using what we have within stored, the knowledge we have stored within, to share with the world out there, for them to gain the essence of what this world coming should be better thereof.
But what we are doing is we are deliberate. We are preparing something. So the metaphysical thing is different. Yeah, the metaphysical thing is different, and the technological thing is different.
Can I tell you something?
No, don't tell me anything. Let me ask you a question.
It had to come through that to get to technology.
Don't worry.
What I'm trying to say is that the power of what we saw of our mothers doing or our ancestry doing, we could rechannel that. Look at what they did in that movie, the Wakanda. What do they call it again?
That's
Black Panther.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
If you study look at the Black Panther world, you will see it's just an expression of what we had been doing as in our mindset as children.
Yes.
Those kind of ideas that came
as African children.
Thank you. So they now brought it and built a persona around it, putting essence and value in movie format.
And for commercial purposes.
For commercial purpose. What that has just told us is that there's so much untapped within us here that we have not packaged.
I agree.
And we need to now start reorientating, re-educating, and reinvesting into building that ground-based knowledge development.
I agree.
That will now take from here the power and essence to sell to the world.
The difference is your characterization of it. But let me go. Don't worry, let's do this.
Because I think your grandma do all like this. Now say, look, your mother talk to her.
It's like
you go say that wish, but you go take phone, you go say that technology. No, Papa me so yeah, man. It's which.
No worries. Say now winch abi.
Now winch.
Okay. Now, you know that within our culture,
yes,
there are different types of foods. And there are some people who will say, okra, for instance, we know the chop am for my family.
Because they take and do jazz for them family.
Yeah.
Yes, and they take self their juju. The essence of spirituality is about the value you calibrate according to the area you come from. It resonates with everybody.
Exactly.
Muslims, for instance, typical Muslims will tell you, they chop pig.
No, it's not typical. That's just it.
No, not many of them they chop. And they see them. Wait, I know they want. See, look, this is not about mentioning names.
You don't need to mention anybody's
It's not mentioning names, but
yes.
I'm confirming to you that I know some of my Muslim friends.
Yes.
Who eat.
Well, maybe they have eaten. Yes.
They eat.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just telling you. But the point is, some are liberal about what is requested. Yeah. Just like those same people you talk about. Their family tree not go agree made their chop snail.
Yes.
But many of them, they chop snail.
I even know a gentleman who is an Igbo guy, very close to me, who said, in my hometown, in my village, right, you can't kill a snake.
You see now?
You understand? So those are the metaphysical parts of our ancestry, our culture, our ways of life. We need to understand it. I agree.
Modernize our approach to it by researching it the right way.
Okay,
so it can gain essence in the present.
Yeah, so now let me ask you a question about food types. What food types resonate very well with you?
Natural foods. I cook.
Yeah, I cook too.
Cook, so for me, I do foods like our typical Nigerian dishes. I know how to cook. Plenty, true. Many people do it. And they cook banga soup like crazy. And they cook gbagbo fofo, gbagba kogiri. Those are shekiri foods, Yes. And they cook owo well. And they do epuru, like the Robos call it.
What is epuru?
Ukodo.
Ukodo, okay.
That is yam and pepper soup,
soup, yes.
With the typical pepper soup, traditional pepper soup ingredients, And they cook 5 different types of egusi.
Yeah.
And they cook ofe oha, ofe owere, ofe onugbu.
No. Tell me the 5 different types of egusi.
Oh, gbagba kogiri, which is the first, the shekiri style.
Yes.
There is the Cameroonian style, where you pack the balls.
Yeah, that's true.
I've
seen that.
There is go ahead. There is the egusi,
yes.
which is the Yoruba style.
Yes.
And there's the Igbo style.
Yes.
And these are, everything have their own, Then like the okra we talked about also. I cook about 4 or 5 different types. Shekiri type first.
Yeah.
Why
you always putting shekiri first?
Because that's my roots, man. Hello. Sell not yourself and then you are nobody.
I thought you wouldn't proclaim it easily.
No. Amy. Hey, Otoyeme. No. No. Don't go there. You must find the essence of where thou art from.
You have to be comfortable in your own skin.
You must, because you can't give what you don't have.
Before you can project.
You can't give what you don't have.
That's true.
So from home first.
Yeah.
You know, bago fufu. Then I do the Igbo style where you cut the okra in a different style, then come mix with different vegetables, in particular like bitter leaf, and if you like,
yes.
Then they do the ila sepo,
yes.
Yoruba style.
Yes.
Then they do the ila separate again with crayfish, with our you know, that you can use with stew, you know, by the side. You know, all these things are, and they are medicinal. It's proven.
So how much of foreign foods do you eat?
Of recent, I never see myself really eat foreign food. So
these things we just talked about, especially as it relates to food and locally produced stuff, resonate with a song by Fela.
By Africa.
By Africa. Mm-hmm. How much of Africa should we be buying now?
We should do more. We should propagate more. We should signal and symbolize more. Look at you, African fabric.
Look at you.
It's an African T-shirt, please. It's a Nigerian T-shirt, Nigerian-made cotton, with Fela as an insignia, as a symbol.
Don't worry.
And I'm proud of it.
I caught you.
Very proud of it. I don't want to join the rest of them.
Let me thank you so much.
But you see, let's be frank.
Yes.
Before you round up,
yes.
Let's be frank. I think it is time that the governance, whoever they will be that will coming, will look deeper into what we have, so that we start to regenerate from ground up the values we hold. Because through this source, we shall feed the world, we shall heal the world, and we shall show the world what true power means. It's not money, it's value, it's essence.
Thank you, Dede. It's been Dede Mabioku as my guest on this episode of Timeless Conversations. It's been wonderful, Dede. Thanks for coming. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is mine.
Thank you.
Chop your knuckle.
Thank you. Yes.
Nice one, Bobo.
Thank you.
One love.
Until next time. See you.
pushed to the point that I had to start something not numb. And I'm a big risk taker, and I enjoy doing things that nobody really does. I wanted something different from every other art form that has been pushed out there. I didn't have that fulfillment in what I was doing, and I really wanted to express myself more as an artist, and I decided to resign and go into practicing art full time. I loved subjects that had illustrations or drawings in them. I just kept pushing it and went to the extent of studying art in school, so it's been art all my life. I try to conceptualize what I want to create in my head. Even in as much as scattered as it might be, I create it in my head first, then I put it on paper. I sketch, then I try to pick colors, and I proceed to the main piece. A friend of mine told me, like, there's really nothing that could be achieved with graffiti here.
Good afternoon, I am Shade Uwe, and this is the news brief. President Bola Tinubu said the death of the late Governor Rotimi Akeredolu left a void that will be difficult to fill. He said this during the visit to the paramount ruler of Owo, the Olowo of Owo, Oba Ajibade Ogunoye. Tinubu said this while on a private visit to the state to commiserate with the people of Ondo State over the death of the former governor. During the visit, Tinubu visited the family of the late governor and later visited the national leader of the Pan-Yoruba Socio-Political Group, Afenifere, Pa Ruben Fashoranti. Speaking during the visit, Tinubu said that the legacies of the late governor will endure forever.
We lost, and he lost real sons. Yes, a man passed. Akeredolu is my very, very close ally. And he's a son of the soil. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's all. As simple as that. I'm running out of time. But I said, I must be here. I must see you. I feel the life of my friend, my partner, my political associate. Thank you for giving him a befitting burial. Thank you very much. Aiyedatiwa. Thank you, Deputy. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Troops of Operation Delta Sanity have deactivated 41 illegal refining sites and impounded stolen crude oil and other products valued at 8.6 billion naira in 3 weeks. The Director of Naval Information, Rear Admiral Adedotun Ayovogan, made this disclosure in Abuja. He said approximately 60,815 barrels of crude oil worth 8.1 billion naira, 557,580 liters of gas worth 497.4 million naira, and 5.5 million worth of kerosene valued at 5.5 million naira were recovered. Ayovogan said various Nigerian Navy platforms were deployed for the operation meant to combat oil theft and illegal oil bunkering plaguing Nigeria's maritime environment. Bandits have abducted scores of worshippers in one of the mosques in Safei town, a local government area in Zamfara state. An indigene of the area said the bandits invaded the mosque around 5 a.m. today when the people were about to start the morning prayer. According to reports, the number of abducted worshippers could be more than 30. Safei local government is one of the local government areas in the state worst hit by banditry over the years. Meanwhile, the Senate has summoned the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, and the Commissioner of Police in charge of the territory, Bernest Igwe, over insecurity. The Senate said the invitation had become necessary to enable both Wike and Igwe to brief it in closed session concerning the spate of insecurity in the FCT and measures being taken to address the menace. The resolutions of the Red Chamber followed its consideration and adoption of a motion titled Galadimawa Kidnap Incident and Need to Urgently Enhance Security Measures in FCT.
About 5 bodies or so were recovered when they went to the forest a few days ago. The CP personally led the culprits who went to show them where they left the bodies. But I don't know about what happened with the others, but I'm sure that this Senate should be able to, through the recommendations, be able to find out what happened and take appropriate steps.
Security of life and property is very germane, and this is the federal capital for Nigeria. And whatever is happening here is a reflection of what is happening in your country. I just want to add that apart from supporting this motion, we must ensure that whatever is passed here today is effected. The Legislative Compliance Committee of this Senate should follow whatever we decide today up, so that the CCTV and other security measures that will be put in place will be seen to be functional, so that life and properties in the FCT and other parts of the country.
Invite maybe the FCT Commissioner of Police to brief us in closed session about this particular investigation, because it will be good for us to know the details and see how we can also add more solutions. So do we invite the Minister of FCT and the FCT Commissioner of Police to come on this particular incident where a legislative assistant of a senator has been murdered? May the souls of the Galadima kidnapped victims rest in perfect peace. Amen.
Integrity and credibility are some of the words that resonated at the Punch photo exhibition in commemoration of the newspaper's 50th anniversary, which held in Lagos. Our correspondent, Love Ikuku Oyedokun, reports that the exhibition showcased images of hope and humanity of people and power brokers, activists, intellectuals, and many more.
These are some iconic photographs from the Punch newspaper's rich archives. The 3-day photo story exhibition is part of activities lined up to mark the Golden Jubilee. Titled Timeless Lenses, a newspaper's visual journey through Nigeria, the iconic photographs are reminiscent of the rich history of Nigeria and her people. Foremost journalist and former Commissioner for Tourism, Arts and Culture in Lagos State, Steve Ayorinde, is the curator. He takes everyone present on a breathtaking and memorable journey of the newspaper over the years.
Of all the pictures that we have here, this is the only portrait. And then if you want to argue that this is the most, in quotes, ordinary of all the pictures, but it is probably the most intense and the most prophetic.
The exhibition affords viewers ample opportunity to see some unique and striking photographs from the pictorial archive of the Punch newspaper. Adeyeye Joseph gives a brief insight into the selection process of the photographs.
In our collection, we have different types of photographs, and we placed a specific particular premium on photographs that on their own, without the need for long stories and long or lengthy captions, are able to tell the story. And when you look around, you see that some of the photographs you see here tell very compelling stories that perhaps even you may not necessarily need, a caption, lengthy or short, to get the essence of the story. So we make that a priority.
Wumi Tunde Obe and Angela Emua are children of the late founder of the Punch newspaper. Looking back, they are grateful to see how their late father's legacy has blossomed.
I feel very, very, very happy, elated, a sense of pride, because I think we've managed to weather the storm, to ride with the punches, literally, because changes happen, and I think we've managed to ride with those changes. We are, I wouldn't say, I always say we can always do better. I will always say that, but I think that we have done well, and I'm very, very pleased with the way we've evolved.
As the children of the late founding chairman of Punch newspapers, where we were able to achieve our aim and to live out his dream. His dream had always been for his children to continue his legacy and for the dream of the Punch to never die. He was always, even up till his last moments, it was always like Punch must not die. And, so we thank God today. 40 years later, we know he's smiling down on us. And I believe he's proud. It's nice to know that he's proud. And that makes us smile that, Dad, we didn't let you down, Here we are, and we're still going strong. So.
I've been involved with Punch over the years. And it's a thing of joy to see that the children of late friend of mine, Olu Abodere, have all worked hard to keep the flag flying. I congratulate them. It's not easy for a family to unite and carry on the legacy of their father. It's a great achievement.
The week-long event continues with a public lecture to be delivered by Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka. Love Ikuku Oyedokun, Plus TV News.
To improve the quality and standard of education across the country, government has been charged to intensify supervision in schools for maximal input in the sector. An educationist made the appeal in Kaduna State as part of an effort to rescue the educational system, which she says is the panacea to development of any nation. The director of Easton School, Candy Oruba, said lack of proper supervision of schools has negatively impacted on educational system, noting that inspections will put schools on their toes. She urged supervisors and education inspectors not to compromise on standards.
Lacking in supervision, you have inspectors not doing their work. They don't come around schools, supposed to be periodically to check whatever the teachers and the schools are doing, whether it's in line with the system, in line with the policy of education, but it's missing. So I think the ministries of education should take it seriously to make sure they improve, maybe in terms of salary and welfare, for inspectors to go around and check what schools are doing. I feel that other schools are lacking in supervision, so the supervision should be taken seriously.
Also, the chairman of the National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools, Kaduna State Chapter, commended the state government for investing in quality education, both in public and private, for over 8 years.
I don't think for the past 6-7 years there is any other state that can come out and stand that they've put in more resources into educational sector than Kaduna State government. Both the former governor and the current governor, everything centers around quality education for Kaduna State students, pupils and students in general. So then I believe is a good thing. We need more Wole Soyinkas, we need more of Chinua Achebes, we need more of Niyo Sudaris of this world. So my words to them is keep reading, keep writing, you will get to the top.
Message to parents is to keep on supporting these children. to keep on investing on these kids, because they are leaders of tomorrow. Parents feel that it's a burden to them when it comes to, in terms of money. I would want them to change the narrative, to actually collaborate with the school to make education better. If you bring your child to be trained or to learn, you have to support them in one way or the other. We are not talking of cash. Devote your time to make sure they follow, the basis of whatever they are learning, parents and the outside world, so that we'll make it better. We'll make education better in this.
Artificial intelligence, AI, has been on the upsurge for quite a while now in other parts of the world. No doubt Nigeria would not want to be left behind, as such a development could result in ease of life in many areas and aspects from top to bottom. An event tagged Adapting AI for Nigeria, Crafting Intelligent Solutions for a Unique Landscape, has created an opportunity for tech enthusiasts, entrepreneurs, students, and investors, among others, to have better insight into how Nigeria could be ushered into an era of prosperity by using AI. Our correspondent, Abdul Salam Joki Lasisi, has more.
Keen-eyed and curious Nigerians are seated in this hall. They are seeking more knowledge about artificial intelligence at the Artificial Intelligence in Nigeria AIIN conference. The event hosts all-round interested Nigerians, indicative of the rise in the need for all to know more about AI and what it holds for the future. Many institutions and establishments in Nigeria have at some point navigated the waters of the AI sector. One of the sponsors is the Wigwe University, founded by the late Dr. Herbert Wigwe. A speech is dedicated to the late business mogul.
The words of Thurgood Wilder, an American novelist, who once said, "The highest tribute to the dead is not grief, but gratitude." With grief, you are left with no choice. You are held in its grip, whether you let yourself go or not, it's there. In many ways, it will always be there. But with gratitude, it's a choice I have made. Grief is inevitable. Gratitude is a choice. It's a decision I've made.
Speakers, including the founder of Intelligence, Dr. Phil Ogun, hints on how AI can be effectively integrated into Nigeria. He speaks alongside others.
But the plan for us and what we're currently doing is to apply all of these things, AI, robotics, software engineering.
I'm going to focus about the fact that AI can help transform businesses. It can help in terms of making decisions faster for customers. It can also help improve customer experience and customer journey, basically.
Meanwhile, Dr. Phil Ogun shares his thoughts on how Nigerians could become more accepting of AI.
It's for us to know that there is no stopping AI. A lot of people have been talking about how AI could cause harm, and that's very true. A lot of people are talking about bias in AI. That's very true. But these are the challenges that you have when you have a new technology, okay? But with time, all of these things will go away.
Just as participants speak on how impactful the event has been.
People have really been wondering, they are scared that is AI going to take their job? No, quite all right. But if you don't upgrade yourself and get in tune with what AI, the next level, then those that know AI, that can operate AI, will take your job.
Africa being that environment where the young people want to thrive in the AI space, having such opportunities and hearing from such people with such amount of wealth of knowledge is quite inspiring.
The organizers say Nigeria cannot be left behind, hence the importance of the event, which seeks to usher in both the country and its citizens into an age where humanity and AI work together to achieve success across all sectors. Abdul Salam Joki Lasisi, Plus TV News.
Following the rising cases of cancer patients in Nigeria, the federal government has been tasked to declare a state of emergency on cancer and drug shortages affecting chances of patients to live in the country. This was the consensus of key relevant stakeholders at the official unveiling of Hayes Haven Foundation to provide care, psychological support, and zero tolerance to cancer diseases in society. Cancer data in Nigeria leads to over 72,000 deaths per annum, with male recording 30,924 deaths, female 40,647 deaths. The special advisor to the Vice President on Political Matters, Dr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed, said early detection, education, and massive investment for cancer treatment are ways to curb the deaths.
Enough education about cancer. A lot of cancer can be treated if it is detected correctly, particularly cancer that afflicts women. Cancer of the breast. It's easily detectable and easily treated. There are a lot of cancer. All people cannot afford the amount of money you spend for chemotherapy. Government must address that. These three things are important. We need a leadership that has empathy. Cancer is a very serious problem. If you have it, it's virtually a death sentence in this country if you're poor. Even if you are rich, the government should declare an emergency on cancer. Buy the equipment that is necessary. And they recruit doctors, train them on oncology, and deal with it. We can't just ignore a citizen just simply because he or she has cancer. Because it's very expensive. Cost should not be a hindrance to helping people.
The former Commissioner, Ministry of Human Services and Social Development, Afsat Baba, said teaching hospitals must be upgraded and equipped. He said subsidizing drugs and chemotherapy which are beyond reach of the common man.
And but the issue that actually I'm advocating is the subsidizing of the drugs. The drugs are quite very expensive. It is beyond the common man's reach. So also look at the chemotherapy. Going through the chemotherapy for about a year or even more is also very, very expensive. So I think if the government can subsidize the drugs and can also subsidize the regimen of the treatment. So I think we can go a long way. So I want to call on the Northwest Zone governors, the 7 governors, to actually look at cancer as something that that needs really intervention. Just the way there was intervention in HIV and AIDS and other diseases. So I think cancer should also be given proper attention.
Focus is going to be on awareness campaign, on preventive measures, and for people who are already having the disease, we'll discuss on how they can manage it, and also giving kind of emotional support to people who are also battling with cancer, including their families, because once a person is passing through cancer, it's not only on the person alone, it involves the entire family. I am calling on the well-to-do Nigerians to come over to support. We can't allow the government alone to do this. Looking at the northern region entirely, we don't have a single radiotherapy machine. So there's need for well-to-do in the society to come over to support. If it means getting the machine, to ease the burden of people traveling far away to go and get treatment.
Care for those who are going through this. Secondly, care for orphans and widows also in memory of the deceased. So the support might be in the form of drugs, it might be in terms of psychological care, among several others.
And that's the news brief. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. You can also view us from Limex on limex.tv and Glow TV apps anywhere in the world. I am Shade Uwe. Thank you for watching.
I will take you through this amazingness today.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Vicky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Nwaja Gomero and I'm joined by my amazing co-anchors. Hi Chinelo. Hi Dami. It's been a while, Dami. I haven't seen you in the studio in a while.
Well, yeah. But now I'm here.
I know. Happy to have you back.
What's
with all of us wearing black, buddy? Who has
She has infected us with the whole black thing.
By the way, my best color happens to be black.
Black as well.
Black is reality, so
but
it's okay.
Black is good.
It's a very
fantastic.
beautiful color.
Apparently, all the ladies on Way show love black. That's a good one. Yeah. How you doing, MJ?
I'm good. How are you? How's your day?
It was good.
Tell me, how's yours?
My day was good. I mean, I work from home today, so I think what brought me outside is this studio, so yeah.
People that work from home, God when?
God, like, seriously. Unfortunate. But it's okay. That's how life is.
How are we supposed to cope in Nigeria if we don't work from home some days? Let's not lie to each other.
My dear, then for the rest of us who have been working on site, let me put it like this, working on site for years.
Well.
This is me, not even with that much experience in terms of...
I count myself lucky then.
Yeah. Anyway, here's what we found as today's quotes. It's got me thinking, what extraordinary opportunities are our friends from Lebanon and China seeing in Nigeria that perhaps some of us haven't noticed? This is a quote by Uchenna Uzo. Well, as it pertains to our topics, ladies, what do you think? So, extraordinary opportunities in Nigeria that Lebanon, the Lebanese and the Chinese have been in Nigeria for God knows how many years. So what are they? What are we seeing? What are we not seeing? What are they seeing that we're not seeing?
Is it that we're not seeing anything or that we're not encouraged to see anything? I think this is our conversation.
When we have a lot to say about it.
My main question for tonight that we're going to be discussing will be, how is it that international businesses and companies seem to thrive in Nigeria? And we haven't gotten there? How do they do it? Anyway, we recently came across the thoughts of Professor Uchenna Uzo, who shared some interesting statistics on the number of Nigerians leaving the country for Canada this year alone. While Lebanese and Chinese communities celebrate a milestone in the country with over 75,000 and 40,000 individuals who have decided to call Nigeria home. It's our Ladies' Night, and Chinelo, Dami, and myself are here to discuss the topic, are there real opportunities for Nigerians to thrive in Nigeria? And when we open our phone lines, we would love to hear what you have to say. But first, let's take a break and see what we found in the news. Welcome back. You're still watching Waves. National Waffle Day is celebrated August 24th in the United States. It commemorates the anniversary of the patenting of the first waffle iron in the United States by Cornelius Swarthout of Troy, New York. On the 24th, 1869, the first waffle was made in Belgium in the 13th century. They were made by pouring batter into mold with a gilded pattern on the bottom. The waffles were cooked over a fire. Over time, the waffles spread out into other parts of Europe and eventually to the United States. Waffle Day. Happy Waffle Day. Happy National Waffle Day.
Happy National Waffle Day. I think the person that created waffle is actually a genius. Why?
They should stop all those akara waffles and all those.
That one is Nigerians that are just trying to be extra.
Vanilla waffle. I don't understand it when I start to see pink waffle, green waffle.
I don't.
The latest one I saw is akara waffle. I'm like, this is creativity, if you ask me.
Well, maybe for children because you need to make their food.
Yeah, you know,
very
for children, for some of
Yeah.
them, it has to look good to taste good. If it doesn't look good, they're not eating it.
But I love waffles in ice cream, eating it like that with whipped cream. I don't know.
And
Anyway,
to
it goes
believe
well.
that waffles started, I think, you know, some of these things for us in Nigeria, waffles started with like toast.
Yeah,
that's what we used to think was waffles. Like toast bread. They now put honey on it, or you put butter on it, and you put something, and then you cut it up. But well, now is Waffles Day, and I wish all of you happy National Waffles Day. Have a waffle today.
At this time of the night.
Oh
Guys,
my goodness.
What did you find in the news?
Okay. My guy, Nyesom Wiki, is about to give them hot in FCT. I love it actually. When I saw he was made the Minister of ST, I'm like, this guy is about to bring in some serious discipline into the FCT. Because the truth is, the FCT is slowly becoming like Lagos.
Yeah.
Again, you know, all that nonsense, mannerism, people driving anyhow. You know, they have these very wide roads, and then you just see people doing all sorts, you know. And he is there now to bring the sanity back. Unfortunately, I don't live in Abuja. Maybe this is it. This is the time to move to the.
So this is him. What?
So
he arrested.
There was a collapsed building.
Yeah.
I think yesterday, and he said now he has ordered the arrest of the landlord of the building. Let me just take the story very quickly, and this was by Daily Post, and it was said that the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory has ordered the arrest of landlord of the collapsed two-story building. He reports Daily Post also reported that the FCT police announced on Thursday in a statement that there were 2 people that died, while 20 others have been evacuated to the hospitals as the rescue operation continues. I mean, it's not today we started hearing about collapsed buildings.
Yeah.
And you know why I love this? Usually in Lagos, I'm sorry to say, but what we would usually hear is, we commiserate with the families of the lost lives and blah, 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 blah. But this is a man of action, in as much as we're all saying some is this, is that. He has now said that this man, the owner of this building, will be brought to law because there are certain approvals that this person probably did not get.
Yeah.
Meaning that.
So some investigation will be done at least to find out.
Yes.
Because a lot of people over time, and they avoid all these supposed guidelines that help them to make sure like the building and the construction is done properly.
Yeah. So that's it.
Wow. Dami.
Okay, so what I found in the news was, so Ketensha said, stop putting young lives at risk. She called for the scrap of NYC. I don't know, I think that I low-key agree. I don't know, maybe in this recent time and age, I'm not particularly sure the purpose of NYC anymore. I feel like it has lost its initial purpose.
Value.
Yeah, because I know that one of the reasons why NYC was encouraged is because we have people come from different parts of Nigeria. You know, some people that have even gone to study abroad, you know, they come back to the country, mix up with different people, and like we're having this conversation backstage, and my dear sister here said, she said, "Do you know how NYC has impacted people's lives?"
My life changed because of NYC. Honestly, I met the person that helped to literally change the trajectory of my life during my NYSC.
Well, congratulations.
But you're one
out of how many people? Look, the major reason why she was even calling for this grade.
I'm not disputing the fact that NYSC hasn't helped a lot of people. It has. You know, for a lot of people who you either didn't go to boarding house, so you didn't know how to take care of yourself and your environment,
how to mingle,
So there are different things you can pick up. A lot of people, they had like pageants and all that in camp. Then for some other people, it was when maybe they first had their first exercise, because you used to have like
some people made their
parades. Some people met their spouses.
We have to put
and
that.
all that.
But then again, the main reason why she, urged the government to actually scrap this NYC is because of the insecurity in the country right now. I don't think any parents would love their children to go and willingly serve in the north when they are not going by air. True. Going by road is not so safe right now. That's the major reason why she asked for the scrap of NYSC.
On that note, I agree, because
there is if they are not kidnapping you,
they're always in the forefront.
Right? I mean, there's one thing or the other. So until Nigeria is safe enough, actually, and can be accountable.
Will we ever be safe enough?
My dear sister, how do I want to answer that question now?
So that's another side of it. Will it ever be safe enough for us to say, okay, let's put back NYSC?
So there was a way forward.
Off the table is off the table.
Because I don't even see the use at this point.
Well, that's you. Some people still see it. Some people think that some people that stipend that is given to them.
There
are different reasons why people stick to it.
Angie, I saw one tweet and girl was like, you see this old NYSC thing? It can be 2 or 3 mail max. I don't know why we're doing NYSC. It can come in as an email because the entire scheme.
I think it's more about the experience, to be honest.
The experience has been dented, because the truth is, if you go to some NYSC camp, you will not want to be there. So imagine when you're supposed to have an experience, and then you go there and you are
have an
suffering.
Experience all the same.
Well, true, Sha. The experience can be either good or bad.
Nobody ever said you were going to get 5-star luxury.
Gen Z, they don't want to suffer.
We're not even asking for 5-star luxury or anything, but at least the basics.
What are the basics? There's no water.
There's no water.
Oh, trust me.
There's no water. The beds.
Sorry, I said in Lagos we had water.
See, you can't compare someone.
I'm not even going to say where I served, but we also had issues with water. But yeah, these things happen. Okay.
I comment my reason.
I agree, Sha, that they should scrap NYSC. That one year of our lives,
indecisive. So on that note, I'm indecisive because I still see some of the good that it brings for certain people. So if you have if you have 1,000 people and is able to help 500 people to become better in their lives, whatever area of life, whether social skills, personal skills, personal hygiene, what have you, if it helps them, then that's good. Now, the other side about the insecurity. Now, that insecurity affects every area of our lives. It's not just NYSC. So even if they're not on the NYSC,
Well, now that they say NYSC people they are going to be putting them at war fronts. So what should we do about that?
The soldiers and go and fight Boko Haram.
What should we do about that?
Okay.
I'm going to serve my country, and they say they want to put me in the war front. What should I do?
Well, I'm sure we'll have that as a topic one day. Because I'd love to hear about that, because I'm wondering how Mano War and walking up the hill equates to
real war front. No.
But it's okay. Thank God I have served years ago.
Do you get?
And I would not be nominated.
Glory to Jesus.
So my news is quite, I'm going to just run to it. So students of the River State University had to stage a protest over rampant robbery attacks in their hostels. They staged a protest because a few of them were attacked the night before. Their valuables were carted away, and as well there were alleged rape of some female students. So if that video can be put up, you would see how much chaos this has caused, and a lot of uncertainty for some of the female students, because and it goes back to what we were just talking about, the insecurity. And I said it, that the insecurity is happening everywhere. It's not just at the NYSC camps. This is a university. I am almost so certain that part of the culprits of this, part of the people who will, if they are eventually caught, you'll find out that they're students. They are your classmates, they are your colleagues, they are there, they know, they hear. Because that's the thing about social media. When you're on the phone and you're having conversations, oh, Baba is giving me 500,000. A lot of people are listening to that conversation.
True.
That's why you have to always be careful, because that's the thing. Because why would someone, there was even a part of this, this is just the video of the protest, but there was even a part of it, you know, when you look, because there were several pictures, when you look at some of the pictures, you know, they dug a hole through the wall and everything. These are all informations that is within the school.
True.
It's not anywhere else. The culprits are within the school system. And it just goes to, it always goes back to tell you or to show you the kind of mindset we have coming up, the younger generation. It's a we thought our generation was a make money fast,
This one is
make money quick.
swiftly.
This one is make money.
Make money now.
No.
As in now.com. That's what it is. Because when you hear some of the things that they voice and they say, you are just looking at them like, you are foul.
Very, very.
Like you're I don't know if you can be redeemed with this line of thinking. And well, anyway,
it is well.
Thoughts for another day. So we'll go on a short break. See you after the break. You're welcome back. Nigeria is a land of many opportunities with bustling population of over 200 million people. Now, whether Nigeria is a profitable place to live depends on your definition of profitability and your willingness to take risks. The country has a large and growing population, a young workforce, and a wealth of natural resources. However, it also has a high level of corruption, insecurity, and poor infrastructure. There are many successful Nigerians who have built businesses, created jobs, and made a difference in their communities. However, there are also many Nigerians who are leaving the country and who are struggling to make ends meet. The country faces a number of challenges, including corruption, insecurity, and poverty. Nonetheless, our Lebanese and Chinese friends have seen opportunities to flourish in Nigeria, and now they call it home. So tonight, we are asking the question, are there real opportunities in Nigeria to thrive, for Nigerians to thrive in Nigeria? Please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. I'll take that again, 081-803-84663. So, guys, what do we say about this? Are there real, first of all, yes or no? Are there real opportunities in Nigeria?
I think there are.
Chinelo, yes or no? This yes or no. First. Yes or no. First. Yes or no?
I wish there was a word in between.
No.
Yes and no, right? But yeah, there are real opportunities. Not a lot, but there are real opportunities actually.
When you say real opportunities, there are a lot. Not a lot.
Not a lot of opportunities.
So, what do you mean by not a lot?
Okay, so first, let me say this. I remember them was asking a question backstage, and I said, when we come on air, I'll answer that question. First, see, Nigeria is one of the most populous countries, if not the most populous country in Africa.
It is.
Right?
Yes, it is.
Based on statistics. Number two, Nigeria has over 70%, maybe about 72% of people under 35.
Yeah.
Right?
And
we know what that means.
Youngest population.
Youngest population in Africa.
We know what that means.
Yeah.
You have people under 70%. That is,
you have a workforce.
That's
true.
Get?
Yeah.
So that already tells you that, look, there is a massive business opportunity right there, because there are people that are going to buy, there are people that are going to sell, there are people that are going to work. Right? So this is what I mean by there are real opportunities.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when I say that there are not a lot of real opportunities, what I'm then talking about is, okay, when you were talking about the Lebanese and the Chinese guys, right? And then I remember I was saying something about how are we favoring the people in the white skin other than people in the black skin and things like that. If you look around the commercial areas, you find out that most of the restaurants, most of the supermarkets are run by these guys. You barely ever find. Do you know? In fact, I found out something very recently. Do you know that even the Nigerian-owned supermarkets and restaurants are literally paying the Lebanese guys
to manage
and run for them.
Definitely.
So what exactly is the reason behind this?
Okay. Sorry to cut you off, Dami, but do you know that if you walk into a restaurant today, I think it's a mindset which has now also affected the government. If you walk into a restaurant today and you see a Lebanese guy as the manager or as the whatever, the front, the how do I put it now, the face of the restaurant representative, people tend to, calm down and listen, and they are more receptive and open to the person other than when it is a Nigerian. So let us start from there. We are our own problem. First things first. Now, this also has now translated to the governments. So let me not say all, but most of you see CCECC. What I remember as a child, I used to ask my mom, what is this CCECC? She says it's China Civil Engineering Company. And I'm like, why? So are you telling every day there are people graduating as engineers, civil engineers? So why is it that most of the major constructions that are done in our country is by the Chinese? So clearly there is something that we probably don't know yet. I don't know if it's that there's some trade by barter.
But then how many construction companies owned by Nigerians do we actually have in Nigeria? Because you cannot possibly want people to employ a certain, you can't expect, for instance, I think Dangote Refinery, there was something about it one time when people were like, they employed
Indians.
They did. But then again, how many people in Nigeria have actually worked in a refinery before that they can be employed?
And that's a good point.
Do you see the problem?
Yeah.
Are we even employing people first?
So it's more about experience. And the thing about it, dragging it back, one of the reasons would be, I'll answer your question, would be because they are better managers.
No, NJ, I'm not disputing that.
Their business sense.
I think it brings us back to the educational system of Nigeria again. I don't think that it equips its citizens enough to actually have certain types of experience to function in certain types of capacity.
But when people say this experience, I have a problem with this experience thing people are talking about. How do you gather experience?
Fine, you gather experience by actually working.
You start from
But then again, are there even people to do the work enough to gain the experience?
There are people, what are you saying? Go and bring in all those Igbo boys from Onitsha.
But do we really need the Igbo boys, or we actually need the people that know what they are supposed to do?
You're still not. So now, we're saying we don't have people, and I'm telling you that we have people. Okay, you've then brought up another point that these people, how do they know what to do? They will learn. That is how. You cannot just keep sitting down and saying that you don't have the experience. How do you start? It's not from one day. You start before you gather 0, 1, 2, 3 years experience, 5 years, 10 years experience.
With time.
That's how it works. But we are not even willing. Now, that's even talking about manpower now, right? Okay, now let's talk about infrastructure.
No, infrastructure is bad.
That's another problem.
That's one of the things that is even killing businesses in Nigeria.
Another problem. Imagine you want to start a water manufacturing company, for example. I'm not even talking about regulatory bodies. I've not gone to policies. I'm still just talking about now infrastructure. Yeah. Maybe I decide to start manufacturing bread, a bakery, or chicken pie, or something like that. Do you know what the cost of power will do to me? Now, okay, I start maybe somehow I'm able to get grants. That's by local. Because the truth is that these grants exist, but we are not very aware of them, and they're not particularly. They're not even open to the public. They're not open to the public. It's usually by chance that you get to even hear about them. Okay, somehow, somewhere you even get this money, then you start to pay for power. Then NAFDAC will come knocking on your door. You have to get NAFDAC number, NAFDAC license and approval. You do that. Tax, you come, you pay that one. Then you now have to employ people to pay. So they're like a whole lot of things. These other white guys, on the other hand, have access to foreign exchange. And we know what it is. The rate of foreign exchange to Naira.
To Naira, yes.
So it's sort of easier for them to pump in a certain amount of money to do these businesses. So
that is one angle.
Okay.
That is one angle. Because trust me, Chinelo, there are a lot of angles to this. If we start here on all the angles, we won't end this conversation. But like I said earlier when we started, there's a conversation that I need us to have. And that is a conversation about how international companies are thriving in Nigeria. And then we'll look at a few of the opportunities we think are currently that people can actually look into, because we can't, as much as we say that there are no opportunities, there are, because there are people, there are companies thriving. So we have to be able to direct our audience to where those opportunities are and how they can key into it. Well, we'll take a short break at this point, and then we'll see you shortly. If you're just tuned in, it's our Ladies' Night Out, and we are discussing the topic, are there real opportunities for Nigerians to thrive in Nigeria? Please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation, send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Our phone lines are now open. Please call us on 070-2500 7749. I'll take that again, 070-2500 7749. So, back to our conversation. How do international businesses thrive in Nigeria? What are they doing that we are not looking into? What are the opportunities, if any? What are the opportunities that they're giving? Maybe there's some kickback or something. I'm trying to understand. Are they giving, is there something that they're paying that other businesses need to pay so that we are treated the same way, or do we have to bleach our skin? Is it all about the skin? And I don't think it's all about the skin.
I don't think so. I think, you know, when a foreign business, I say foreign now because it could be a Nigerian trying to establish a business overseas. When a foreign business is trying to establish in a country, I feel, you know, the government of that country sees it as pumping into the economy of that country, because whether you like it or not, you're going to pay tax. So I don't know how many Nigerian businesses pay tax in Nigeria. So a foreign company coming into Nigeria will definitely pay tax, and that's going to do something to the economy of Nigeria. So I think we can look at it from that angle. And like you also said, they are very, they have access to FX, you know. So because if you bring, for instance, dollars into Nigeria, by the time you change it, it's going to be a lot more than when it just remains in dollars. So it enables them have access to funds to actually do business. That's what I think. If there are some other benefits that are being gotten from this, I would also like to learn at this point. But I'm going to come from the angle of opportunities, if there are really opportunities in Nigeria. I like to believe that Nigeria is a fertile ground and is very marketable. It's just quite unfortunate that it feels like our government and economy is working against us. But then it doesn't take away the fact that there are real opportunities in Nigeria. One opportunity I like to say is agriculture. I have always said agriculture. I have always been a fan of agriculture because even Nigeria as a country is depending on agriculture. So, I don't see why anybody does not see that that's actually a business idea.
Yeah.
Do you get? There are, you can see renewable power. I get that there are certain types of business that are very intensive,
yeah.
and not anybody can just go into this business. But it doesn't take away the fact that it is actually a business opportunity that can thrive in Nigeria, because we don't even have constant power supply in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So imagine if you go into renewable energy. You have a target market clearly, and then you're going to make your money from there. So there are Nigerian government as a whole can even buy into tourism rather, because I believe that there are places in Nigeria and even culture in Nigeria that foreigners can come into the country to learn about, and it's going to fetch a lot of money into Nigeria economy. Yeah, but then again, since Nigerian government is not willing to, maybe go that route.
Can we hold that thought? We have a caller on the line. We have Pastor Oladipo from Igomu. Pastor Oladipo, are you on the line?
Yes.
Oh, good evening.
Can I go ahead now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello? Can I go ahead now?
Yes, Pastor Oladipo, please go ahead.
Good evening, ladies.
Good evening. Hello, good evening.
I greet all of you. Now, my take is this.
Okay.
There are great opportunities in Nigeria, but there is only one bottleneck. And that bottleneck is what Delos talked about. It's just that she didn't go deep into it. Our mentality and our mindset. Do you know that in our football team or sport as a whole, nobody will give you chance if you are not carrying a different skin? Are you getting me? Even when we have local coaches that can do well, once anything that involves any other color, we tend to jump at it. So my take this evening is that let's change our orientation, let's change our mindset. There are great opportunities in this nation, and we'll go far with it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your comments. So yes,
I feel like we're not addressing the issue, Sha. I don't think it's about skin color. Are there opportunities in Nigeria? Yes.
Yes,
we
there
have
are
a problem with
Nigeria.
Actually grabbing this opportunity and thriving in it. Yes.
Yes. Because there's the we part of it. Yeah?
But I don't think it's about color, Sha.
No, well,
are
it's
there
an
opportunities
opinion.
for Nigerians. Yeah, for Nigerians. Yes, there are opportunities for Nigerians. So, but then we were just sort of identifying what the stumbling blocks
are to those
for the
opportunities,
Nigerians. And
to
you see,
you
this thing
thriving.
about mentality and mindset is a very real thing.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example, right? Now, where I work, I've realized that a lot of people, because we have different races, let me put it like that. And do you know that in most cases, even the black people, we just have that thing at the back of our heads that the other people that have other things are superior. Thank you.
Yeah, I
Meanwhile,
get that.
for example, my team lead is a Nigerian. I have someone else who is superior to me, of course, but she has a different skin color. But you know that most of the guys on the team respect and regard her more than my team lead.
Well, absolutely. I get
Do you
that.
understand?
Yeah.
Today, we literally had to address that, saying that, no, look, this person is actually the team lead. She actually answers to this other person as her line manager. So you might as well want to fix that in your head. But why did that happen? Because of skin. So already.
So I'm gonna give an example of that, a live example. One of my previous places of work, I had a marketing manager who was working out of the UK. And I was leading the team, sales and marketing team in Nigeria. So she's the regional marketing manager because we had an office in Kenya. So it's a case of she manages the marketing, but in my opinion, because it's sales and marketing, she has to, the normal thing is for her to report to me so that we can work together, since I headed the team in Nigeria, and Nigeria is our head office. But because of, like you said, skin color and a few other things. Okay, I'll come back to that.
Okay.
So we have Dexter from Lekki on the line. Hi, Dexter.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Please, let's hear your comment. Let's hear your comments. Please go ahead.
Okay. So what I'd like to comment on is the influx of Lebanese people into Nigeria. And I would concentrate more on Lebanese because I have an experience. I work with some of them.
Sorry, Dexter, please could you speak up a bit so that we can hear you clearly?
Okay. Is it better now?
Yes, way better. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think I'll focus on the Lebanese people influxing into the country. And this is just my personal opinion.
Okay.
Right? I mean, it's just like you guys said, it's surprising that we have more Lebanese investment in Nigeria, even while the Western and Caucasian people are leaving the country and taking their investment out of Nigeria. And what I think is actually because Lebanon is not very different from Nigeria in terms of the economic climate. In fact, I think it's worse in different aspects. First of all, we have the same consumption index, 24. And then their currency even worse than Nigeria's currency. And at January 22 this year, the currency went from 500 Lebanese to 15,000 Lebanese, so 15,000 Lebanese pounds to $1. So by extension, the country is not even viable for you, right? And I believe they are just a part of Egypt. And then we have the advantage in countries when they come to this country. So they can navigate what happened climate. So when they bring their investment, they're not saying as, oh, just another person, just another corrupt person. They're saying this country that have come to invest in. So now, while they are corrupting their country, they're taking out whatever interest they have because they can invest it there. They have to come and invest it here. The U.S. economy is still okay. We have a policy that if you really try to do what you have to do to make headway, the fact that we can make headway because we have some people or some powers that be that just frustrate your head. But they don't have the same experience with this product. But those people can be independent that they are white. So they get to do things white. In fact, the outrageous in Nigeria is laced with corruption. I mean, I don't say too much. In the terms of how the people to work in Nigeria and to even like, for example, what they have on their payroll, what to pay, particular strategy. I know this I'm not too much. So I believe the reason they call it is because it's easier for them to know where they're coming from. I don't know much about the Chinese.
Okay.
Any smart investor wants to come and invest in anything because the economic climate is like that. But for someone that already has a harsh economic climate, or even harsher than what Nigeria is very attractive. Yeah, you keep doing it.
Okay.
I'm not correct.
Okay.
And yeah, I think like I'll probably do stuff. I believe it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dexter.
I mean, I didn't catch everything
I
he
didn't
said,
catch
but I think
everything, but yeah.
I could pick out some things.
Some
He
of
was
the
talking
things that-
about the economy from where these people are coming
from.
I think they have either I said they have a better economy, something along that line.
Lebanon does not have a better economy to Nigeria.
What he's trying to say
is
in
that,
currency.
Like, it's not very
as
different
bad.
from what we have here.
Okay, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
Not very different. Okay, I
From
thought you
what we
said
have
it's
here.
better.
Not very
because
different from what we have
until
here.
recently, the Naira was literally at par
par
with the
with,
Lebanese
currency,
what's
yes.
their this thing called. So I'm not sure. Well, I mean, I understand that, right? But you see, this is part of what we're saying. We don't like to give ourselves a chance in this country.
The thing is that these people, I think we fail to understand that these people have more access to fund than we Nigerians actually have access to
Funding?
fund. Yes, because even if you're
But
about
it's
to start
not-
a business now,
we-
you're going to go and take a business loan. The interest rates will choke you.
See, there are a lot, like I said at the beginning, I feel like there are a lot of things. There are a list of things. If we
There are a
actually
list
sit
of
down here,
things.
we'll be listing out too many things. that.
So we should prefer solutions. That's
Me, I believe that that's one of the major reasons why the foreigners are thriving in business more than if Nigerians are actually doing business in Nigeria, because first they have more access to funds, and then again, I don't know. I feel at some point I heard that the devaluation of Naira was actually very intentional. I'm not particularly sure why now, but then thinking about it again from a very layman perspective, if the Naira is devalued, right, and then I have dollars, dollar is a global currency, right? Yeah. I have dollars and I'm looking for maybe a country to actually invest in. And like I was saying earlier to you, the things that actually sell, or rather that you get quick returns on, are very everyday things. That's why you see that most of all these businesses that are owned by all these Lebanese and Indians, they are supermarkets. Because do you understand what I'm saying? Because those things you can get quick returns. They are not trying to go for specific products and what's it called now, a customized product, because those ones might take a while, because you need to really appeal to your target audience. Those ones might actually take a while to get returns, and at the end of the day, you don't want to be in a country doing business and you're not adding to the economy of that country. You will be sent out.
You know what? Let me cite an example. Let's look at clothes, for example.
Fashion.
Yeah. Do you know that it's very expensive, and I say that without mincing any words, to patronize a locally, a Nigerian RTW brand?
No, let's not even go there, please.
A Nigerian what?
RTW, that they call RTW. That
it's not even RTW, that takes 5 to 7 working days.
That we call RTW.
Let's not even go there.
You are hearing things like 35,000 naira.
70K. Why?
Yellow top. 16,000.
Why?
I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not going to go into that conversation. No, because like I say,
it's not even right now.
There are things that would affect for any business to get to that point where they are charging that much. Exactly. They are paying, like earlier we spoke about it. Dami, you mentioned it. Yeah. You mentioned about the issues with light, issues that affect businesses. So you have issues with light. Now a lot of businesses are dealing with petrol and fuel, diesel, everything is increasing.
And even those that are manufacturing outside.
For a business that wants to thrive in Nigeria, how are they going to thrive? If they make, like, they might as well go to Aba to go and print it now in mass production. So, but guess what? You are getting this RTW kind of businesses are made to measure, made to fit.
Will you wear
tailor-made?
NJ. If I tell you tomorrow now, that NJ, I now do a business, so I now make clothes from Umahia. And now I'm doing mass production, and my tops now are 4K or 335. But you will see it on 200 people low. Will you buy it?
No.
Okay. That answers the
question. I'm sorry, but
see, we can't do anything to help that situation.
We can't do anything to help that situation. Sorry, guys. We have a bit.
Critically well. We should be afraid of a second colonization if the African governments, if they are not careful. Now, the Chinese, the Lebanese guys are very skilled when it comes to managing businesses. Now, not just Nigeria, if you go to a lot of African countries, you see the Lebanese guys and the major business they run in most of these places are actually supermarkets. So they are very skilled when it comes to running supermarket, when it comes to running hotels, anything that has to do with hospitality business. The Lebanese guys, let's give it to them. They are very experienced and they know what to do. However, in Nigeria, there are too many opportunities. But you see, because a lot of these guys come into Nigeria with a lot of equity, which most Nigerians do not have access to, except for the big players. So that's some of the issues we have here. But in a case where the Nigerian government is able to make good policies that will favor indigenous businesses, you would see a lot of businesses beginning to come up in Nigeria. Nigerians are too smart not to have businesses run in this country. So if we have policies, if the government creates an enabling environment for businesses in Nigeria, you will be surprised at how Nigerians will begin to fly. So there are too many opportunities here. But a lot of Nigerians are handicapped because the policies favor a few and not just everyone. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abimbola.
Thank you.
And I love what Abimbola said about strong, bringing up that top phrase there, and he just dropped it in there, strong government backing.
Yeah.
So which means that most of the time when, there's a contract out or they need to put out a contract for something, maybe like road construction or something like that, sometimes there's someone at the other end. Like there's someone within the system, and they now go and, this whole back end thing, go and co-opt someone, say, okay, I want you to come and bid for this business, but I'll take some profit.
But then do we have Nigerians in that industry or in that particular space?
Are you saying that there are no Nigerian civil engineering companies
that actually have the same capacity?
If you empower them, why not?
Well, so that brings us back to the government.
See, understand?
That's what that's the end conversation. That is the end conversation.
But then again, I didn't really see. I mean, I can say for some other industry, but for the construction industry,
Damilola,
I don't know.
There are actually, I don't think there's particularly any industry that you cannot find Nigerians that are good.
True.
I honestly don't think
because I feel like
talk about healthcare.
Knowing even Nigerians and the way they are, we're very resilient people.
Telling
everywhere
you,
we're strong. I'm so sure that you'll find someone living comfortably in Nigeria. Living comfortably.
Have you thought about it? Why is it that we have our same Nigerians, right? That's
thriving when they leave the country.
Thank you.
I know you were heading to that.
That's where. No, of course, I have to go there.
Just like you said, I'm going to continue from where Chinelo stopped. Chinelo was mentioning a few of the opportunities that are currently, or areas that, I said it that we're going to look at areas. Let's look at tech. Tech just started. See how many Nigerians, if I tell you how many Nigerians are out of this country on if I can say tech visas, if you understand what I mean, on tech visas, like every day, right now, if you see someone who is good with, even if you see a solutions architect in Nigeria, see, they have to be paid. Where he is, it's just that he has either not woken up to the power that he has and what he can, or he's that kind of person who is closed-minded and just wants to live in Nigeria.
Or he's doing remote work.
Maybe he's working in dollars and living and enjoying here in Nigeria.
In another currency.
So I think everything actually boils down to the government. So the government is not even helping its people. So I think that the reason why the government is seemingly, that it looks like they're seemingly helping the foreigners thrive in Nigeria in terms of business, is just because they want them to pour into the economy of the country.
And also they're going to they always get something on the side. Of course, they're going to pay tax. If I'm being, they are
going to pay tax.
I was not talking about that.
Why
no, they will pay tax. It's Nigerian companies that can be doing like that. No, international companies, they will pay tax.
It's not even just about
they will pay tax.
More. There is definitely more than
I would like to know. I would like to know the more.
I feel like there are a lot of industries that Nigerians can thrive in.
True.
We mentioned fashion, we mentioned tech, there's beauty, even beauty, natural beauty. A lot of beauty products are out there now. A lot of people are doing natural beauty products. And it's
not
really
organic. No, let's just
I'm not there. I'm not part of this. Yeah. Like NJ and Dami left the room. So, and even Nigerians have carpentry work. This has also been opened in Canada.
Welders and carpenters.
We do a lot of home and office furniture and equipment and stuff.
And Nigerians would rather import from Turkey than to actually do it in Nigeria.
Then there's even computing, just computer work. Like, because we're very good and we're very skilled in a whole lot of things. See, Nigerians thrive when they leave this country. I don't know why. So for the longest time, I just thought that it's almost like, when they say, let's go traditional, when they say somebody swore for your grandfather. So there's a hedge of
one of our
I don't know
callers
what
talked
word
about
to use it.
enabling environments. I think that's
That's
the
the
worst thing.
so that's why I would say
Enabling
that's why I went from the
environments.
traditional. You know, we're very traditional in Nigeria. So I would say, if for the longest time you almost think that there's this covering on Nigeria that there's nothing profitable that can happen. The moment you step out of that
What's
circle,
good you can come
people,
out.
a lot of people go out of the country and oh wow, you see some of them and you're like, what happened? In 1 year, their life is transformed. Second. We have another caller on the phone. We have Kennedy from Port Harcourt. Hi, Kennedy. Good evening. Kennedy, are you there?
Good evening, my sisters on ways.
Hello, Kennedy.
Hello, Kennedy. Thank you
Yeah,
for joining us.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
we can
we
join
can.
you. Kindly make your
Can you hear me
comments.
now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Good evening, I'm calling you. Yes, so I was listening to you with this topic of if there are opportunities in Nigeria. Of course, there are opportunities for Nigerians in Nigeria. There are more opportunities than even you ladies can think of. You know, we are a country where people mentioned a lot of them. There are no power, there are no good infrastructures, there are security issues and all that. You know, those are opportunities actually. You know, when you're from a country where most of those things does not, like most infrastructures are not readily
I think we lost
Oh wow. And I was actually enjoying that. He was and I was just jotting that down because he made a very valid point that Nigerians, I think I'll continue from where you were. So one point that I got from Kennedy is that Nigerians should see opportunities from even the current problems that we have. So Nigerians will thrive if we see our problems and create solutions. Because when you create solutions, you first of all, you counter that problem, and two, you make money off it.
I think another point I want to come from is this. Okay, we keep saying that Nigerian businesses are not thriving. One of the reasons why I think that businesses in Nigeria might not be thriving is because of the consumers, because, I mean, there's a business and I'm sure that we're trying to meet certain needs and demands, right? But are Nigerians really trusted people? Because we talk about mindsets. The truth is that an average Nigerian will trust a white person, not necessarily because of their skin color, but because they have proven to be trusted over time than a Nigerian business. But that's the truth, because you are buying something on Instagram, for instance, and you will find out that what you see is not what you get. So how am I then supposed to?
Everywhere now. It happens abroad too now. You order from Alibaba and you order one thing and get another thing.
Where exactly
when we're talking about artisans, but okay, let's even leave the online business. Let's
Where
talk about
exactly
regular.
are you placing that order from? Because if you order from Alibaba in the UK, you will ship it back. And then they'll bring it, and then they'll send you the right size. That's what we're saying. So we're in Nigeria where we can't ship,
that we are
ship it back.
particularly trusted people in Nigeria. Let's even look at the artisans. You will pay a carpenter to come and do something for you. He's something else he will do. Now, do you want me to give the furniture of my house to that person to do for me? I don't
we have
think
a lot
so.
of this is what I ordered as against this is what I got.
So I would rather go and buy it in Turkey because I am sure that I am going to get value for my money.
So you see now.
So
let's look at
we
it
need
like
to come back to our own selves as the problem as well.
No, see, I agree with you 100. I agree with you. But guess what? If we start, these people have associations. Right now, it's not strong. We can't hold them accountable because there are no, how do I put it now? There's nobody or there's no.
There are no agencies or authorities that
they are accountable to. Thank you. So now imagine that you have a National Welders Association or National Carpenters Association.
Is it effective?
Or a regulatory body?
That's what I'm saying now. That this now brings us back. See, if people see that this thing is serious, do you think that the banking system was like this?
Now you see that we have our problems at the end of the day.
No, we've always
known.
And that's the reason why we have conversations about it, because we're trying to. For me, I feel like the reason why we have conversations like this is not just because we're trying to reiterate our problems.
Yeah.
We're trying to get some people who haven't heard of these problems or who don't even know that these problems exist, because there are people like that, to learn certain ways of moving forward in different directions. Because I feel like as a country, we can't continue to do the same thing
over and
over again, expecting a different result. So why we keep talking about this thing and we share our opinions, our different opinions, because we all have different opinions, is so that people can catch on something that will change their life. That's the whole idea. Is to catch on something so that the change can start from somewhere. Because if we don't discuss it, how do we even know that we have a problem?
But you know, it's very difficult to actually birth change when you're standing alone.
Then do you believe?
I believe in change.
Do you believe? First of all, you need to ask, do you believe that it's possible to even change? Because it just feels like you are part of the problem. Because it feels like you have a mindset of this thing cannot change.
Funny enough, no. But then again, just need
maybe
to stay realistic.
Some people.
Come on.
She's representing the people.
So we have to be
maybe I'm playing the devil's advocate in this point. I don't know.
I feel like we have to be a bit more optimistic if we're going to see any sign of change. And the thing about it, we're Christians, yeah? If I can speak freely. So even as a Christian, they said there's a lot of power in the tongue.
True.
So if we as Christians, and you know, the funny thing is always that we have a lot of churches everywhere, but most of the times, our major problem in Nigeria is that we don't even believe in the things we pray for and we ask for. We ask the government to give us all these good road, good this. You drive well.
I don't even
so if it, no, not you. But if you don't drive well, how is the road going to remain good? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a part that we need to play as people. So even from and that's the mindset. It goes back to the mindset that Chinelo was talking about. If we do not set our mindset right, we will always be in this place of, we're going to be good. It may not be good. We're going to be good. It may not be good. And guess what? Even that is confusing for God.
Because stay one place.
No, let's just think about it. If you want this, say you want this. And so half of the time, I feel like half of the time, sorry, I'm going spiritual, but it's sometimes it's a good way to explain it. Half of the time, I feel like, it's like your problem is, your solution to your problem is on its way to you. And then you open your mouth and you prophesy, and you say, I don't even think this thing is going to work. Why am I even wasting my time? I don't believe in this thing. You see that thing you said can start, so your solution starts coming back.
Yeah.
And then you pray again and it starts coming. So that's why even the Christian race is a journey. Because half of the time we're the cause of our own problems.
True.
Guy is just sitting down there waiting to bless you. You are the one holding it back. Because each time you say something, and they've told you that you have power, but you do not even believe that you have that power. Even as Nigerians, we say we have power, but we do not believe in our power. It was until this last election, before Nigerians started to believe in the power of the youth or in the power of the population, irrespective of what the results were. Do you understand? So I understand, and I'm coming from the point, I think however we're going to go about it will be from the point of we have to have the right mindset in order for us to even move forward. Yeah? For us, for any change to happen, we have to want the change to happen and believe that the change can even happen.
And the government needs to do better. So.
Oh no, definitely we know that the government needs to do better. Government owes everybody. It's our right as citizens, and that's what births loyalty for country. You go to the US, the reason why a basic US citizen would say God bless America and always would stand by God bless America is because America at least gives them food, clothing, shelter. They don't have to think about it.
They don't have to pray about it.
And they don't even have to pray about it. It's not a prayer topic because it's not a spiritual attack. It's something that the government is supposed to give to you. So if the government is not doing that, then how do you do yours?
People in the government, they are the one backing all these foreign people up to come and be collecting contract from me Nigerians. Looking.
Let me take your last word. So, Chinelo, what do you have to say? What are your last words?
We've said it all already. I don't think there's anything more to say. Right? The government needs to do better, provide enabling environment, provide the right tools, give us good regulatory bodies and policies, and
stop changing policies every now and then. And the exchange rate should stay in one place. It should start going up and down. That won't save the effect.
So it's a bit tricky, but well, we've had a great conversation today, and I'm sure if we were given another hour, we'll keep at it, because the thing about this conversation is that it has different angles to it. Do we have a comment?
Yeah, I have a comment.
Please take the comment.
All right, good evening, ladies. Most of them in their country travel hundreds of kilometers, and all they see are stretch of farmlands. They come here, all they see are stretch of bush and forests, and they wonder why we are not using the fertile lands to make money. Well, this person is Benson.
Tinelu, do you have comment?
No, I don't.
Okay, I have a comment here. Good evening, my adorable sisters. The problem with most Nigerians about businesses is that they are scared to lose their money, not knowing that most of the time, from one's failure, the experience for you to do better, especially if you are resilient. We prefer to do business with quick money. This can be seen, especially among some of our youths today. They prefer to be Okada riders than to learn work that can't even take them any further in their education. This is from Mrs. Adeniji from Aja. So before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram at Ways Show Africa. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, follow all our social media engagements. And remember to like, share, comment, and invite your friends and family to watch us and follow us. If you've missed today's quote, here it is again. It's got me thinking, what extraordinary opportunities are our friends from Lebanon and China seeing in Nigeria that perhaps some of us haven't noticed? This is a comment from Uchenna Uzo. See you tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screens. Good night.
Bye.
This week on The Inside Story, U.S. military forces strike at Iran-backed militants in Iraq and Syria. Even as Secretary of State Antony Blinken is back in the region attempting to de-escalate the military tension. And with the war in Ukraine set to enter its third year, polling shows Ukrainian citizens remain resolute and determined to push back against Russian aggression. But in Washington, a bipartisan deal to fund border security, Israel and Ukraine seems likely to fail, torpedoed by the very people who wrote it, and drought-stricken California drenched by a river in the sky. Now, on The Inside Story, strikes and counterstrikes.
Welcome to The Inside Story. I'm Katherine Gypson in Washington. We start this week with the United States' response to an explosive drone strike in Jordan that killed 3 U.S. service members. U.S. officials say the attack came from a position held by fighters backed by Iran. In retaliation, the U.S. launched airstrikes in Iraq and Syria against some 85 targets linked to Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, reportedly killing about 40 people. VOA's Carla Babb leads off the show.
America retaliates. A late-night drone strike on a busy street in Baghdad Wednesday killed a commander for the Iranian-backed militant group Kataib Hezbollah. The U.S. military saying he was directly responsible for attacks against U.S. troops in the region. The retaliation began as B-1 bombers flew from the United States to hit 85 Iranian-backed militant targets in Iraq and Syria in response to the killing of 3 U.S. service members last week. The U.S. and the U.K. also struck 36 Iranian-backed Houthi targets in Yemen to stop them from firing on international shipping lanes. But Iranian proxies in Iraq, Syria, and Yemen did not appear to get the message. Iran-backed militants attacked U.S. and partner forces in Syria at least 2 times since Friday. An attack near mission support site Green Village killed 6 Syrian Democratic Force partners. The U.S. also destroyed more anti-ship missiles in Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen that were ready to launch into international shipping lanes after the U.S. and U.K. strikes.
We're not at war with the Houthis. We're not seeking to go to war with the Houthis. But if they continue the attacks, we will continue to disrupt and degrade their capabilities.
In addition to more attacks from Iran proxies, the U.S. is now taking heat from Iraqi officials who were not notified before the attacks and who say civilians were killed during the U.S. strikes that occurred on their soil.
Iraq, like every country in the region, understood that there would be a response after the deaths of our soldiers. As for this specific response on Friday, there was not a pre-notification. We informed the Iraqis immediately after the strikes occurred.
To date, U.S. forces have been attacked about 170 times in Iraq, Syria, and Jordan since mid-October, while the Houthis in Yemen have attacked international shipping lanes in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden more than 30 times. Reporting at the Pentagon, I'm Carla Babb, VOA News.
Amid strikes and counterstrikes, the subject of the Israel-Hamas war looms large. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is visiting Egypt and Qatar Tuesday for talks focused on winning the release of hostages held by the militant group and on security and governance of a post-war Gaza. VOA's senior diplomatic correspondent Cindy Sain reports from the State Department.
Wednesday marked 4 months since the October 7th cross-border attacks by Hamas that killed 1,200 people in Israel and saw the U.S.-designated terrorist group taking some 240 people hostage. About 135 hostages are still unaccounted for. Ceremonies were held in cities around the world, including Paris. The top U.S. diplomat, Antony Blinken, is in the Middle East to push for the release of the hostages, including 6 Americans, and an extended pause in the fighting to get more humanitarian aid to Palestinian civilians in Gaza. But Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu dismissed a proposal by Hamas, which reportedly called for the withdrawal of all Israeli forces from Gaza.
Today, I told Secretary of State Blinken that after defeating Hamas, we will make sure that Gaza be demilitarized for good. The history already proved that there is only one force that can promise such a thing: the State of Israel, through the IDF and our security forces.
At a separate press conference late Wednesday, Blinken had this to say about the Hamas counteroffer.
While there are some clear non-starters in Hamas's response, we do think it creates space for agreement to be reached. And we will work at that relentlessly until we get there.
In Tel Aviv, a group of freed Israeli hostages appealed to Netanyahu to push for a hostage deal.
Again, I am turning to you, Mr. Netanyahu. Everything is in your hands. You are the one that can. And I am very scared, very afraid, that if you continue in this line of bringing down Hamas, there won't be any hostages to free anymore.
In his talks with Israeli officials, Blinken said that the death toll of Palestinians in Gaza is still far too high, and that any military operation against Hamas needs to put the safety of civilians first and foremost. According to the Hamas-run Ministry of Health in Gaza, at least 27,478 Palestinians have been killed in the Gaza Strip since October the 7th. About 70% of those killed are reported to be women and children. More than 66,800 Palestinians have reportedly been injured. Blinken also held talks in Ramallah in the West Bank with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas. Blinken will hold more talks in Israel on Thursday and plans to meet with the families of hostages held by Hamas. Cindy Sain, VOA News, the State Department.
After months of negotiations, U.S. senators will vote on a $118 billion bipartisan agreement on border security and aid to Ukraine and Israel later this week. Even if the bill passes the Democratic majority U.S. Senate, it has little chance of passage in the Republican majority U.S. House of Representatives, as newly elected Speaker Mike Johnson says the bill is, quote, dead on arrival. $60 billion in aid to Ukraine and $14 billion in aid to Israel, part of a new $95 billion foreign assistance package now under consideration in the U.S. Senate, after Senate Republicans blocked a larger $118 billion bipartisan agreement on border security.
We knew about a week ago when Trump mixed in and said, wanted to be political and said he'd prefer chaos at the border because he thinks it helps him electorally. We knew that we might have to have a second option.
The bipartisan agreement would have increased immigration detention capacity, ended the practice of allowing migrants to remain in the United States while claiming asylum, and allowed presidents to temporarily shut down the U.S.-Mexico border if crossings reach certain levels. Conservative Senate Republicans said the bill didn't do enough.
This bill doesn't fix it. Understand, this border crisis is deliberate. Joe Biden caused it. He caused it by his own unilateral decisions.
But independent Senator Kyrsten Sinema, one of 3 senators who negotiated the agreement, said the opposition was a political calculation.
Less than 24 hours after we released the bill, my Republican colleagues changed their minds. Turns out they want all talk and no action. It turns out border security is not actually a risk to our national security. It's just a talking point for the election.
And Democrats warned the consequences of not passing aid to Ukraine would be far-reaching.
Republicans will be telling our allies our word cannot be trusted, telling dictators like Putin that our threats are not serious, telling the world American leadership has been hollowed out by Republican obstructionism.
Earlier this week, Speaker Mike Johnson said the bipartisan agreement would be dead on arrival in the U.S. House. But House Republicans' standalone bill to send aid to Israel failed Tuesday night.
There is no reason whatsoever for them to object to the contents of that bill. They're doing it for political purposes. It's bad for national security.
Republican senators have asked to add border security amendments to the foreign assistance bill. Lawmakers are expected to work through the weekend to vote on passage of the aid package. After 2 years of a full-scale war, a survey shows Ukrainians are more united than ever in their rejection of Russian President Vladimir Putin and his ambitions for their country. But pride at their success in standing up to a much larger adversary is tempered by anxiety over future support from the international community. VOA's Eastern European Bureau Chief Miroslava Gangadze reports.
A decade ago, Ukrainians took to the street to protest their corrupt pro-Russian president Viktor Yanukovych. Despite facing a harsh crackdown, the revolution of dignity persisted, leading Yanukovych to flee to Russia. Soon after, Russia invaded eastern Ukraine and annexed Crimea. After years of a low-intensity war, on February 24, 2022, Putin started a full-scale invasion, aiming to conquer Ukraine within 3 days. However, Ukrainian forces resisted and, with international support, successfully reclaimed some initially captured territories. In his 2024 New Year address, President Volodymyr Zelensky told Ukrainians their nation has become stronger.
Ukraine has become stronger. Ukrainians have become stronger.
2 years after Russia's full-scale invasion, Ukrainians are unbowed. A new survey by the National Democratic Institute, a research organization funded by the US and other Western governments, finds 77% of Ukrainians are optimistic about their country's future and are doing what they can to help with the war effort. Those sentiments are evident among people VOA interviewed on the street of Kyiv.
My life changed a lot.
cardinally changed because now I'm volunteering. I have a lot of friends in military, and I'm live in this war.
I have nothing to fear.
The strength shown by Ukrainians and the way they responded was unexpected by many, says Yevhen Hlibovitsky, head of the Frontier Institute, a policy think tank in Kyiv.
It's the people, it's the resilience that is in the people is what actually surprised the world. And I think this was one of the things that the West did not anticipate, was how determined Ukrainians would be, how resilient they would be, how strong they would be.
Yet today, as battlefield losses mount and the war settles into a punishing stalemate, Ukrainians are adopting a more realistic perspective on the war, says Marcin Walecki, Ukraine's country director at the National Democratic Institute, which conducts regular polls.
To realize that this would be a long war. In May 2022, majority of Ukrainians were thinking this is going to be up to 6 months. Right now, 43% believe the war will continue for at least another 12 months.
The survey suggests most Ukrainians strongly prioritize seeing their country become a more democratic. When asked by NDI how important it is to them that Ukraine become a functional democracy, 93% said it was important or very important.
The major challenge for the country, when we ask about key institutions which have the highest level of trust when it comes to fighting corruption. On the first place, you have investigative journalists. On the second place, you have a civil society. So the spirit of revolution of dignity is still there. You know, Ukrainians would like to see journalists and civil society controlling political elite.
Before Russia's full-scale invasion, NDI's polls showed differences in public opinion on joining NATO between the more Russian-speaking regions to the south and east and the rest of Ukraine. 2 years later, almost 9 out of 10 respondents want to see their country join NATO, and support for EU membership is even higher.
Most of the Ukrainians realize that EU membership, NATO membership, this is going to be a long process. This is going to be a marathon, and they're running shoes. They're prepared for that.
Nearly 90% of Ukrainians expresses worry over diminishing global backing for Ukraine. As Yevhen Hlibovitsky sees it, the world must realize Ukraine is fighting to defend the very values that the West holds dear.
We hear the voices from the West that it's fatigued. That actually means that the Russians have scored a victory against the West, in the West. And that is exactly the problem that Ukrainians have been yelling about, that look, the Russians see the weaknesses.
Ukrainians view reduced international support, corruption, internal divisions, and disinformation as top threats, second only to Russia's military aggression. Miroslava Gungadze, VOA News.
A reported split between President Volodymyr Zelensky and one of his top generals is raising concern inside Ukraine about the country's ability to fight Russian aggression, with some analysts calling it a political crisis. VOA's Anna Chernikova reports from Kyiv.
Victoria Nuland, Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs of the United States, made another visit to Kyiv this month amid reports of an internal brewing rivalry in Ukraine. Nuland said her visit aimed to reassure Ukraine of Washington's continued support.
As hard as these days are, I will tell you that Ukraine is stronger and more resilient this winter than when I visited here last winter. We continue to provide security support in all categories, including new investments and new weapon systems.
Nuland's visit came at a tense moment inside the country, as a split between President Zelensky and his popular Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Valery Zaluzhny, became public and difficult to hide. Zelensky has informed US officials he intends to replace Zaluzhny. Ukrainian analysts believe that the threat of internal destabilization is high, and Nuland's visit may indicate the allies are worried about it too. Vitaly Kulik is director of the Center for the Study of Civil Society Issues.
We can already say that Zaluzhny's removal from the post of commander-in-chief is inevitable. The removal of Zaluzhny, the disgrace, and everything connected with it now means that this is a political crisis.
Kulik says the crisis means Ukrainian political and military leadership will face challenges in meeting Ukraine's international commitments.
The West requires, first of all, certainty. Remove uncertainty, remove strategic confusion, provide certainty, and present a definite strategy.
Ukraine's brewing political crisis comes at a crucial time, as the country begins a third year of war against the full-scale Russian invasion. The battle is being increasingly defined by fatigue among both Ukraine's international supporters, who are talking about cutting aid, and here at home, as anxiety grows over a victory that is not coming fast enough. Anna Chernikova, VOA News, Kyiv.
Tensions are rising in Germany months before the European elections, following reports that members of the right-wing Alternative for Germany party discuss plans to forcibly transfer migrants, including German citizens. This has prompted tens of thousands of Germans to take to the streets and protest the rise of far-right extremism in their country. They say the allegations have uncomfortable similarities to Germany in the 1930s. However, polling shows support for the far-right AfD party is increasing. For more on this story, we hear from our European correspondent, Henry Ridgewell.
Outside the German parliament, some 150,000 protesters formed what they called a firewall against right-wing extremism Saturday. The target of their anger, the Alternative for Germany Party, or AfD. Among the protesters were senior German politicians.
The AfD will never gain power in this country. We will all take a clear stand against it.
Nationwide protests have been held every weekend since mid-January, when the website Correctiv revealed that AfD politicians had discussed the forcible transfer of migrants out of the country, even those with German citizenship, at a secret November meeting in Potsdam outside Berlin.
Neo-Nazis, donors, and AfD politicians spoke very specifically about the realization of the expulsion of millions of people from Germany. And this is a situation in which the AfD has a real option to gain power.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has welcomed the protests.
There is something in Germany which must never ever find a place again. It is the national race ideology of the Nazis. The repulsive relocation plans by these extremists is just that.
AfD co-leader Alice Weidel called the report a left-wing campaign.
The real enemies of the Constitution are those who call for a ban on parties.
Germany's painful history under Adolf Hitler and the Nazis makes the country acutely sensitive to right-wing extremism. There are growing calls to ban the AfD.
Forced transfer of people to other places sounds very familiar in a German context, and frankly, Germany cannot afford that. But in this case, the Article 21 of the German Constitution says that anything that will undermine or challenge the German democratic order is unconstitutional. There is then a process whereby the Ministry of the Interior will refer a particular party to the Supreme Court.
That would be a highly controversial step against the AfD, a party polling in second place at around 20%. With European and German state elections scheduled later this year, the political temperature is rising. Henry Ridgewell, VOA News.
Atmospheric rivers are nothing new to the U.S. West Coast. The region relies on them for up to 50% of its annual rainfall. But the problem, which is the world's problem as well, is that climate change is making them more common and more extreme. And that's what happened this week. From Oakland, California, Matt Dibble has more on this weather phenomenon that's dumped almost a year's worth of rain in less than 2 months.
The lives of millions of Californians are being disrupted by two powerful storms that have caused widespread flooding, mudslides, and power outages across the state. The second storm, which made landfall on Sunday morning, has parked over the Los Angeles area, where the California governor has declared a state of emergency for 8 counties. The storms are known as atmospheric rivers for the large volume of water they transport from the tropics and then rapidly release once they make landfall.
This is very rare and unusual and a strong signal of a very high risk of significant flash flooding.
Evacuation orders have been in effect in areas of Southern California most at risk for mudslides and flooding. In Northern and Central California, winds ranging from 60 to 125 kilometers per hour have downed trees and power lines, cutting electricity to nearly 1 million homes and businesses. The storm activity is expected to continue through Tuesday. Matt Dibble, VOA News, Oakland, California.
Thank you for being with us on The Inside Story. Stay up to date with all the latest news at voanews.com.